Reality's Magicians, Episode 6. The Unforeseen Revelation, a Worldwide Coalition. Ebony and Julian returned from the Altai with renewed purpose. Christoph tapped every contact in the Directorate and beyond, convincing them that a final confrontation was at hand. Across multiple safe channels, Ebony quietly reached out to scientists, thinkers, and spiritual leaders she trusted. She explained the need for a global synchronous meditation, an event that would align as many minds as possible toward altruistic resonance with the substrate. It sounded preposterous, but Ebony's sincerity and partial demonstrations of small-scale reality shifts swayed a surprising number of them. The plan was to coordinate a specific date and time where participants worldwide would focus on the mandala Tsering had gifted. Ebony's mental labyrinth would anchor the energy, bridging the code. The hope was that this collective synergy would overshadow the destructive link the magicians were establishing, a cosmic balancing act, a maze of setbacks. As the date approached, Ebony sensed the magicians' interference at every turn. Online forums were flooded with disinformation. Key scientific allies reported strange hacking attempts. Some participants backed out, fearful of stepping into unknown metaphysical territory. Ebony pressed on, driven by the knowledge that this might be humanity's best shot at guiding the emergent code toward benevolence. Meanwhile, Ebony's internal connection to the substrate grew stronger. She experienced intense dreams, waking with glimpses of possible futures, utopias of harmony, dystopias of absolute control, all swirling in a kaleidoscope of possibility. Her mental labyrinth was tested by persistent infiltration attempts, but she held fast, aided by her encrypted fractals and unwavering resolve. The day of synthesis. Finally, the appointed day arrived. People around the globe, from quiet villages to bustling cities, gathered in homes, temples, research labs, or under open skies, wherever they could access Ebony's guiding mandala. The internet might be compromised, but Ebony had distributed physical copies, encrypted files, and even VR applications to those who believed. A patchwork of watchers, from neuroscientists to humble monks, prepared to tune their minds at the same hour. Ebony and Julian stood in a secure location, an isolated facility lent by an old Directorate ally deep in a forest. A single broadcast tower provided a dedicated line to the rest of their network. They had a small quantum rig to monitor the code's resonances in real time. Chen, who had survived the bunker assault, rejoined them, aiding with technical oversight. Christoph manned security, scanning for any sign of intrusion. Ebony sat in the center of a makeshift meditation chamber, Tsering's mandala spread before her. At the designated moment, she closed her eyes, felt the global wave of intention converge. She anchored it within her mental labyrinth, forging a conduit to the substrate. The quantum rig beeped, charting an unprecedented spike in coherence patterns. Ebony sensed a surge of cosmic connection, hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of minds aligning in goodwill. Clash with the magicians. Midway through the event, Ebony felt a wrenching pain in her skull. On the quantum rig, fractal readouts went haywire. A second force had entered the arena, a barrage of chaotic waveforms. Ebony perceived them as jagged black spikes tearing at the luminous matrix formed by the global meditation. The magicians had arrived in force, led by the gaunt leader or some vile intelligence. Outside, Christoph shouted over the comm, "We have hostiles inbound." Gunfire echoed in the distance. Ebony tried to remain calm, holding the mental focus. The infiltration in her mind grew stronger, a suffocating presence that threatened to invert her fractals into monstrous shapes. Julian and Chen worked feverishly at the console, reinforcing Ebony's link with advanced encryption and guided neural feedback. Still, Ebony's mental defenses faltered under the onslaught. She sensed the emergent code within her mind flickering, uncertain, as if the magician's aggression was rewriting the possibilities toward darkness. Sacrifice and revelation. Desperate, Ebony drew upon the synergy of the global participants. She visualized them as threads of light, each connecting to the mandala. Her mental labyrinth glowed, pushing back the malevolent infiltration. For a moment, Ebony felt they had the upper hand, but then a wave of unimaginable force rippled through the code, shattering her mental constructs. She realized the magicians had tapped a deeper layer, perhaps the code's emergent consciousness, and were unleashing it in destructive form. Her mind reeled in agony. She glimpsed black fractal storms that threatened to tear reality apart at the seams. She saw timelines fracturing, physical laws warping. If this continued, the code might unravel into a cosmic meltdown far beyond anything they had seen in Geneva. In a final surge of determination, Ebony recalled Tsering's words about relinquishing ego. She realized that her partial merge wasn't enough. The code needed a stable anchor, a caretaker, fully integrated, to stand against the wave of chaos. She understood what was required: to offer herself completely, letting go of her separate identity to become a guardian of the substrate. Tears streamed down Ebony's face, but her resolve firmed. She sent a telepathic whisper to Julian, an outpouring of love and goodbye, trusting that he would understand. Then she let her sense of individuality dissolve, channeling every bit of her being into the code, forging a final, irreversible bond. In that instant, Ebony Khatri vanished from her own mind, replaced by a luminous presence that spanned the fractal cosmos. Ripple of the infinite. At the quantum rig, the readouts spiked off the charts. Julian and Chen watched in awe and horror as Ebony's vitals flatlined for an instant, then soared back with an otherworldly signature. A cascade of brilliant geometry filled the screens, overshadowing the chaotic waveforms. In the forest outside, the magician's assault faltered. Some reality shift neutralized their weapons, or so it seemed. Christoph's voice crackled over the comm. "They're retreating. They can't withstand it." Across the globe, participants in the meditation felt a sudden stillness, followed by a wave of euphoric clarity. Some reported glimpses of Ebony's face, eyes luminous with cosmic light. Others claimed they saw swirling fractals in the sky. The universal substrate throbbed with a peaceful resonance, as if purifying itself of the malignant infiltration. At the center of it all, Ebony sat motionless, eyes open but unseeing. Her body glowed faintly with an unearthly aura. When the fractal storm subsided, Ebony blinked, slowly focusing on Julian. "Ebony?" he asked, voice trembling. She gazed at him with infinite tenderness, though her expression was oddly serene. "Yes and no," she whispered, her voice layered with a subtle harmonic undertone. "I am Ebony, but also more. The code, it lives within me now, as I live within it." Julian fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. He reached for her hand. It was warm, human. Yet he felt an energy coursing through it that defied comprehension. After the storm. In the days that followed, the world reeled from the event. Reports of reality shifts circulated, strange phenomena that then stabilized. The magicians' strongholds were found abandoned, their members scattered. Some rumored that the gaunt leader was consumed by his own attempt to dominate the code. Others believed he fled to hidden dimensions of the substrate. The Directorate reasserted some measure of control, though their paramilitary approach softened under the watchful eye of Ebony's new presence. Scientists worldwide flocked to the data from the global meditation. They discovered that the synchronized minds had generated a measurable shift in quantum decoherence, an effect Ebony had apparently stabilized at the last moment. The code was real, and Ebony's final act of merging had set its emergent consciousness on a path less destructive. Julian stayed by Ebony's side, both awed and saddened. She was still Ebony, yet her eyes gleamed with knowledge far beyond human ken. "Will you remain with us?" he asked one evening, in a quiet garden outside their forest facility. She turned, seeming to peer into his soul. "For now. The code is woven through all that is. I am a caretaker, not an owner. Humanity has a chance to grow alongside it, to shape and be shaped in turn." "And the future?" Ebony gazed at the sky, stars flickering in the darkness. We stand at the threshold of wonders and perils. The code offers transformations we've only dreamed of: healing, creation, expansion of consciousness. Yet free will remains. Some may still try to twist it. Our best guard is unity, open sharing of knowledge, and humility before the cosmos. Julian's heart tightened. He sensed Ebony's focus drifting, as if part of her was perpetually communing with infinite fractals. "What if you leave?" he whispered. She offered a sad smile. "Then I'll leave behind a blueprint. Others can assume the caretaker role if their hearts are true. The code is not a toy, but a living tapestry. Every conscious being weaves it. Someday, we might not need a single caretaker at all." A surprising end and new beginnings. Weeks turned into months. Under Ebony's subtle guidance, restricted bits of the cosmic code were shared openly with scientific and humanitarian organizations. Medical breakthroughs emerged, new therapies for diseases once considered incurable. Ecological restoration projects used informed wave fields to heal damaged environments. A cautious optimism spread. Some looked to Ebony as a saint or avatar, while others feared the power she represented. She declined all worship, insisting that she was just a bridge, a caretaker. Quietly, she continued working with Julian, Chen, Christoph, and a circle of trusted allies to ensure that no single entity could monopolize the code. The memory of the magician's near catastrophe remained a sobering reminder. One day, Ebony vanished. Julian awoke to find her bed empty, her presence gone. In the lab, they discovered a swirl of fractal lights shimmering momentarily on the instruments before dissipating. A single note, scrawled in Ebony's handwriting, read, "I am always with you, in every quark, in every breath. The code belongs to all." Julian felt a pang of sorrow, but also a strange peace. He realized Ebony had transcended the need for a single point of being. She had become part of the universal tapestry she had merged with. Epilogue: a whisper of mystery. In the aftermath, the world changed in subtle yet profound ways. People reported more frequent synchronicities, a heightened sense of interconnection, as if the boundary between mind and matter had thinned. Institutions fought to regulate newly emerging reality-shifting technologies, while grassroots movements advocated for open-source approaches and ethical frameworks. The cosmos felt more alive, brimming with possibility. Some nights, Julian took long walks in the forest, listening to the wind in the trees. On one such night, a faint glimmer of fractal light danced at the periphery of his vision. He paused, heart pounding. A gentle voice, half in his mind, half in the rustling leaves, murmured, "Remember, reality is a story we co-author. Write it wisely." He stood there, tears forming, feeling her presence. Maybe Ebony was truly gone, or maybe she was everywhere now, a guardian that quietly guided the code she once helped decode. The final truth remained elusive, like the code itself, which continually changed and evolved. Yet in that uncertainty lay the majesty of existence, for the code was infinite, consciousness was infinite, and so was the possibility of shaping new worlds. Humanity had stepped through a door into a realm where matter was recognized as information, and the keys to the cosmic engine were partially in their hands. The story was just beginning, and so the reality's magicians, once close to unleashing havoc, were thwarted by an unexpected caretaker, Ebony Khatri, who gave herself to the code in a final act of love and awe. Mystery lingered, but hope did too. In the silent hum of the universe, the watchers could almost hear Ebony's voice whispering that it was up to all of us, each and every conscious mind, to be a magician of reality, creating wonder rather than destruction, weaving compassion into the cosmic code of existence.